Welcome to Social Media and Sports Marketing. I'm your course director, Kristen Zimmerman. Um, I'll be with you guys for the next 4 weeks. This class will also carry into your Portfolio 4 class, though, so you'll be working on the content that you learn in the course for the next 8 weeks. So it's important that you really just stay up to date on everything that we're working on. Um, to contact me, the best way is my cell phone or through the platform. And if it's about a certain assignment, making sure that you're writing it in the comments for that assignment, or send me a message through the platform itself as well. Also, feel free to email me. A little bit about me and my background. I have a background in radio, television, and film. Is where I really started my career, working in a small town station and then driving out and living in LA, working with a lot of different major studios and television networks. I did that when I was working with Revolver Films, who was a production company. While I was out there, I also worked in television casting. And then when I came back out to Florida, I took my skill set and that I learned um, in TV production and casting, and I brought it over into marketing because a lot of the same skill sets carry over, which is a different industry. Here I've worked in marketing and graphic design, in pharmaceutical marketing, international business with that. I've worked with a social network, thoughts.com. I've worked as a lead designer for Compass and as a marketing manager and designer for Brownlee Lighting. And you can also connect with me on LinkedIn as well, at linkedin.com/in/Kristen Zimmerman. And I have all my career history there. Um, I did have my undergrad from UCF, and it was a great time being involved in college sports, and it was a lot of fun. Um, and then from there, I obviously went through my career and got my master's in internet marketing. I have two little kids, so if you call me, there is a chance that you might hear them in the background. So I appreciate your patience during that time. Um, but they're great, and they've definitely make the world a brighter place, and they teach me a lot about the younger target demographic as well, which I find very useful in marketing. Always paying attention to the different markets. And that's me with Nitro. Um, all right, to get started in this class, I want you guys really to take a look at the video on Socialnomics 2017 posted in your course library. You can go ahead and pause this and watch that right now if you like, or watch it afterwards. So go ahead and do that if you're going to do that now. All right, once you watch the video, I really want you to pay attention to the details, how things have changed, how much more everyone is paying attention to social media, how Facebook even used to be ranked number 3 in that list, and now they're number 1 in terms of population. They're higher than India, they're higher than China. So people are paying attention to social media. I think they said even, in 2018 that 2 out of every 3 people will be using mobile media for videos as well. And so pay attention to the trends. How are people using it? How can you use social media marketing to market to these demographics that they're talking about? You have the older generation, the younger generation. How do you reach them? What are their interests? So we're going to explore that throughout this course. We're going to be looking at social media marketing from a business perspective and also from your personal brand perspective. A little bit about the course. Some of the objectives. We want you to understand how to build a brand, how to build a personal brand, setting up all of the assets from scratch, from the ground up, then working through the objectives of social media marketing, Then getting into the strategy and understanding how to build a strategy for social media and content marketing. And then eventually how to measure the results of social media marketing. We're going to talk a little bit today about the history of social media marketing. We're also going to be talking about brands and tools, social media marketing, reviewing assignment 1, and your discussion board. And basically, you will be creating the foundation for the course. Everything in this class builds off one another. So you want to make sure that you're always completing your work because it will affect your next assignment. Assignment 2 has to do with the objectives and aims of social media marketing and using them to then brainstorm ideas for your campaigns. We'll also talk about social media in sports, and then in week 3 get into campaign planning, creating strategy plans, content plans, actually planning out your physical content based off the best times to post content as well, and writing the actual post. You'll then go into week 4 by executing the campaign, measuring the data and results for your campaign, and creating additional content for week 2 that you will then execute into your portfolio for class. We also in week 4 talk about ROI, sales, and customer service. Okay, so starting off, I just want to review your assignments a little bit. The main thing in assignment 1 is obviously focusing on your brand. Who are you as a personal brand? And I want you to look at yourself as a business professional, not necessarily as a student, but who are you? What type of perception do you want to perceive? What type of content do you want to have in your portfolio? What's your resume going to say? And what topics can you be a thought leader on? What is your focus in your career? Is it on PR? Is it on marketing? Is it on a specific type of marketing, brand marketing? Is it in graphic design or video? So really hone in on what is that main topic and start researching it. Look at articles from different publications. I've listed several publications even within your library resources. So look at them, read articles about it. Then you can take current events and apply it to that focus. So that means that, 3 of you could be writing on the Super Bowl, but you could each have your own focus. One could be looking at it from a brand identity perspective. One could be looking at it from a marketing and sponsorship perspective. Another could be looking at it as from an agent perspective. So what is it that you are really focused on? You'll then go ahead and check your brand name assets on gnome.com. So you're going to be checking to make sure that you have naming consistency on all these platforms. That means facebook.com / it would be social playbook. Twitter.com / social playbook, which in that one I had to use an underscore because it was available on every platform except for that one. Same thing with Pinterest Business / social playbook. If you had Instagram / social playbook. So you want to make sure that the name is available on all platforms. So again, that you have consistency. You guys should already have your blog done that you created in web design. However, please check the notes because you might be having to export your content and import it into a new hosted site if you can still get access to it. And you can do that by following the directions that are listed in the assignment. You'll then go ahead once you check the availability of your sites and you're going to secure them. So it means you're going to go sign up for all the social media platforms. And there are video tutorials in your assignment. Look at them, check them out, and follow them. It will help you sign up for all the pages. You're also going to go ahead and develop your brand assets. I know it says integrated learning here, but you guys are going to be actually doing that as part of your discussion board post. So I'll get into that in just a minute. But when I say brand assets, that's going to be all the visual elements for your blog. And you can even use it for other elements for your website. You'll then update and optimize your blog based off the checklist that I provide you. And you'll also go ahead and use the notes that I provide you in the video attached to the assignment. You'll then set up all your social media accounts and network with your classmates and with other people as listed in the checklist. Make sure you read through the entire assignment because at the end you will see a checklist, and it is crucial that you complete the checklist. It's a very simple list, but it's crucial that you do it because that's where you're getting a majority of your points from. You'll then go ahead and the final thing you'll do is create a blog post for your brand. It should not be an about me post. It should be an actual article or post that is focused on your brand's topic and represents, your brand content. So again, you're going to be doing filling in 2 worksheets. Make sure that you include all the screenshots that are required, that you're filling out, you're going through the checklist, making sure that everything is there, and that all your URLs are correct as well, because I will be using the URL sheet to check your live content to make sure you finished the checklist. If you have any other questions, you can feel free to contact me. But there's 2 PDF documents that you will fill in and that you will send to me. Please do not zip any of the files and follow the instructions to a T, including how to name your files. And these are the deliverables for your assignment 1. Making sure that your name's on the assignment, making sure that you have it named properly, that you save them both as PDFs, and that you add in the other files that you need as well, and complete all the items on the checklist. All right, you also have a discussion board due this week, discussion 1.5. Please note there are 3 due dates. One is Wednesday, one is Friday, and one is Sunday. The first due date is the initial blog header design and professional headshot design. These are meant to give your classmates an idea of your concepts so that they can reply with feedback for you. The feedback is due on Friday. This is going to be peer-to-peer feedback on all of your peers' designs. Follow the instructions, also as noted in the discussion board for your replies. Your reply should not just be, I like your content. It should be constructive feedback. Remember back in your web design class when you guys had to give constructive feedback. You'll be doing this again. You're going to give constructive feedback to your peers that can help them grow from, maybe an outside perspective. But you want to make sure also that you're being respectful in your feedback. You'll then take that peer feedback and on Sunday, you will apply it to your updated header design. You will also additionally have a cover image that you'll be creating for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You'll also be creating a profile image for Twitter, for Facebook, and you'll have your LinkedIn. Remember, these are personal brands, and so they should reflect your personal brand. Your imagery should. And I would like to see also, if you have a previous header, go ahead and post what it was before, so I can see the really, the big difference within it. Make sure that you're also creating your files based on the correct dimensions because you will lose points for that. And all the directions are there, so please read through them in their entirety. All right, just a couple class policies. Make sure again that you download all the instructions and read them thoroughly. And I suggest doing this by Monday or Tuesday of each week. Follow the naming instructions on each assignment and turn it in the required format just as it states on the assignment clearly. If you want an extension or you have just cause for an extension, they must be requested prior to the deadline, and I don't mean 10 p.m. on the day of the deadline. We should be working together and you should be reaching out to me prior. All assignments will not be accepted after 3 days past the deadline, so please make sure you get them in on time because you will still have to do the work because it's going to affect your future assignments. And this only applies to assignments. Discussion boards and quizzes may not be turned in late. For assignments, 1 day late is a 10-point deduction. Days 2 and 3 are additional 5 points per day. And 4 days, you have a 100-point deduction. There are also GPS deductions. Please refer to your student handbook for more of that information. All right, so what is social media? Think about it from what does it mean to you? How are people using it? How are you using it in your daily activities? How does maybe somebody from a younger demographic use it versus somebody in an older demographic? And how is it being used for business versus personal? And how does it change over time? Social media is constantly changing depending on the platform that you're using, right? And depending on if they want to stay current and stay as an active site. If social media isn't being updated or changed or innovative, usually those sites are the ones that fall off the grid. So you need to make sure that as a marketer, you're staying up to date on all the trends, that you're looking at, when things change or what features are available, so you can be implementing that content or that information into your marketing plans. We define social media in here as the medium in which people and businesses independently and transparently collect and contribute information such as text, photos, videos, and audio using internet tools and platforms. So, what this, the real important things or things I have bolded, independent. This is why it's been so successful in sports. You can take social media and put it anywhere. You can put it, or take it with you on the field. You can take it with you where you're doing practices. You can take it with you to the racetrack. Social media can be having a hub or having people there at the events and making them part of the experience and sharing their own experience. Your players, everyone can be using it. Also, transparent is important because it shouldn't be a brick wall. There should be a level of transparency, communication, inviting into people's personal space. All right. So just to briefly go over the history of social media marketing, it really begins in 1978 when computers were able to send messages via a network. But we're going to focus on and look at it from 1994 first. And the reason we look at the history is because you can see what elements stuck and which elements were developed further, even if these other sites are not as popular anymore. They made a lasting impression. GeoCities, for example, connects based off a city. And we see that that was something that people liked, that they could find people, where they are, where they're traveling to. And almost every single site includes some type of location information now. Every single mobile app includes location information. It allows people to check in, to write reviews, to connect with their friends, to connect at sporting events, to connect with teams. Um, and so there are so many ways that people are connecting off location. And even if the site doesn't exist now, it's still made a lasting impact. Classmates.com in 1995 was a solution for people to connect people they haven't seen in a long time and went to school with. And people were willing to pay for this information, just like they were willing to pay to be on GeoCities. Classmates.com is still around, and it still offers a pay feature. However, they had to find a different brand differentiator, and so they were finding, bringing yearbooks and looking at things from that perspective. But go ahead and check it out, and you can see that really isn't that current, the way that it looks and the feel of it. We then in 1995 had AOL, and they start offering free hours online. So they were doing something a little bit different, but they still wanted a credit card, or they still wanted something that went beyond those hours, so that they could charge you. And a lot of people paid for that service. They paid internet right through AOL, but it was dial up. It was really hard to access. In 2002, we saw one of the first social platforms that was like the ones we saw today. It was called Friendster. Friendster figured out the free platform, but what they did that was a little bit different is you had to know somebody. So they try to make this include or exclusive type of feel. So you had to know somebody to get onto this platform. And when MySpace decided to create a very similar platform, kind of as a joke in the beginning, that they coded in 10 days, they left it, though, open that anyone could join, and it took off. And they also realized that you needed to reach your audience, and they did that. And they had meetups, and they really were involved with their audience. The bad part of MySpace is they grew too quick, and they had a lot of errors and a lot of problems, and the back-ended code was open, and people who should not have been using or creating graphics were doing this, and it was bogging down the sites because of the internet speed at the time. A year later, Facebook came on the scene. But they started slow, they started basic, and they grew from there. Facebook, they started on the college circuit, and only 2 universities were even able to see or use Facebook in the beginning. And then they grew to allow anyone with .edu to use Facebook until I believe it was around 2007 that they opened it to everyone. And the clean and simple design was appealing to other demographics outside of the young generation X and Generation Y. And so, other people start getting on there and connecting, and people were connecting with people throughout their lives. And eventually, and by 2008, it started overtaking MySpace and becoming the #1 social platform. And they grew steadily. And their biggest thing was they were never going to have outages. And I think they've only really even had one that I can think of since then. But they did it little by little, listening to their audience and growing over time. In 2006, Twitter came about as well, but it was another, again, 3 years later that it really made a brand presence. And it became the platform for people to get to know other people that they want to know, that they have a desire to know, not necessarily people they already know. And now there are so many platforms that keep getting on the scene, and either Facebook acquires them or somebody else does, or you have the Snapchat right now who turned down $3 billion from Facebook to acquire them. They played Facebook at their own trick, where I mean not trick, but they had confidence in themselves, just like Facebook did when Google offered them $1 billion. And if I said million, I meant $1 billion that they offered Snapchat. So you want to look at this and look at, what can you learn from each platform? Which ones are thriving? Which ones are continually updating themselves every 30 to 90 days? Because they need to do that to really thrive. All right. So what is a brand? I really want you to think about this. Not just what is a personal brand, but what is a brand in general? Let's take a look at this.
Did you know we are exposed to over 3,500 brand messages every day? If you think that sounds like a lot, consider this. Today, my odyssey through 3,500 brands started out like this. The minute my Panasonic alarm clock radio goes off, it's tuned to National Public Radio. I grab my Oral-B toothbrush, put some Crest toothpaste on it, take a shower with Irish Spring, use some Degree deodorant, have a glass of sun-kissed orange juice, a bowl of Cheerios, get in my Jetta, and of course, drive to Starbucks. Then I get to work, Dell computer, NEC monitor, Windows operating system, with an Intel Core 2 Duo processor inside. And then there's the cacophony of other brands we encounter daily. Energizer Batteries, Robert Mondavi Wine, DirecTV, CNN, the Green Bay Packers. We live in a brand-saturated world. That's why it's so important for your brand to stand out. But what is a brand? A brand represents people's gut feelings about your organization. Another way to say it is that your brand equals your reputation. We use brands as a form of mental shorthand. We create brands to summarize our attitudes about basically everything, whether that be people, places, or things. Brands represent all the things that pop into our minds when we think about a company or its products. For instance, Walmart is known for its low prices and wide selection. If I say Las Vegas, a subconscious rush of memories, experiences, and associations come flooding into your brain. This is the Vegas brand. Southwest Airlines is regarded as the cheap bus of the skies, with a quirky, fun personality. Coach is associated with its high-end luxury handbags. Apple is cool, creative, hip, intuitive, innovative, and stylish. How we relate to brands is a lot like how we relate to people. The instant you meet someone, you start forming impressions about them, making little mental notes about how they look and the things they say and do. As time goes by, we make adjustments, amplifying some attributes while adding or deleting others. It works the exact same way with brands. Everything you do and say influences how people think about you, and every interaction is an opportunity to build your brand. Every time they see an ad, swipe their debit card, or use online banking, they are interacting with your brand. So what is your brand? It isn't your name or logo or tagline or products or branches or advertising or website. Your brand is all these things. These are the tools you can use to strategically shape and influence people's feelings about your organization. But ultimately, your brand will be built by what you do, not what you say, and the experiences you deliver every day. So what is your brand? Your brand is your promise. It is your pledge, your commitment. Your brand is what you stand for. And it is your organization's singular driving focus.
So think about that. What is your brand? What does it say about you as a person or the company that you're working for? Or, think about all the different brands you use on a regular basis. What does it say? And what is the message behind it? What is the main value? Zappos is customer service. Walmart is cheap prices. So you want to think about, what do these brands say about organizations? What image do you get when you think of them? When people use your brand as a verb, that is remarkable. Um, and it's so true. It's the marketer's dream, right? How many people say Photoshop that picture and they really don't even mean Photoshop, or Google it when they could be using any search engine? So it's important that they see this, or maybe not see this, that that you get people, utilizing verbs. And if you can do that, it's going to last. Think about Kleenex or the term popsicle, how they're actually really brand names. I want you to think about also, when you're looking at a brand, what experience do you expect? What do you think of when you think of Starbucks versus Dunkin' Donuts? Both serve coffee in the morning. Both have loyalty reward programs. Both have snacks or treats or breakfast and different food. Both even have donuts. But what is a different experience that you expect with each one? What do each one of these brands stand for? How are they perceived? Which one is a working environment? Which one is a fast in and out service? Which one, actually, they both let you now order your mobile app, but which one creates a real experience for their users and makes them feel like they're part of the tribe, part of that culture? Think about which one you belong to and why. What is it about the experience? What do you expect to get? Think about also what brands make you from the moment you get up to the moment you fall asleep. And what do they say about your personality? Who are you the target demographic and target market for? And then look at, when you're rating, what are the brands that people are using? These could be potential sponsors. Or what are the different activities that they do? You can incorporate it in marketing ads. What's the food that they're type of eating? What's a day in their life like? What brands make you? And what do those brands say about you? What is your tribe? Think about it because it will help you again as you develop your own personal identity. And it also helps you understand different target audiences um, that maybe you're marketing to. Excuse me. All right. So, what is brand awareness? Think about what brand awareness is. What might it be? Well, here's the answer right here.
Brand awareness is the extent to which potential customers recognize a brand and associate it correctly with a given product. For example, a marketer might show a focus group a series of products, ask the group to determine which one belongs to the given brand, and then record the group's accuracy in identifying the correct product. The result would be a measurement of brand awareness.
So, being able to see something and recognize it, right, and recall what it is, understand what it is. And that's one of the first aims of social media marketing. Having a level of brand awareness, getting mass exposure, but not just exposure, having people recognize the brand and understand its purpose. It's all part of it. So, how do you create brand awareness? Well, number one is find your audience, and number two is spread the word. It seems pretty simple, but it can take a lot of effort. Think about these brands here and the ones that are paired up that, might be similar. They have different target audiences, different people. Marketing, it's okay to be as specific as possible with your target audience. The reason why is that it's going to help you qualify leads, and they are going to be more likely to utilize your product or to utilize your brand or to follow your brand. So you want to make sure that you are understanding the difference between Quicksilver and Roxy, right? Who is the difference in the audience? Or Audi and Honda? What's their lifestyle like? Who is the person that you can picture in the car if you were creating a marketing campaign? Or who are the people who typically buy it based off of your research? When it comes to spreading the word, we look at that as, getting it out on the social platforms and making sure that you have enough content out there to create it and that you're connecting with people. All right. So, getting more into knowing your audience, some of the things that you can do to find your audience is generic and keyword specific searches or using different terms that in your content that will help your audience find you through organic search or paid search. They will use these keywords to help identify who your target audience is or who are the people who might be interested in your products or services or information. We will look at generic and specific keywords in just a second. But I also want you to look at how would you find keywords in blogs, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. What are the areas that you go to for each one of these? On blogs, maybe it's searching groups, because in the groups, you're seeing things based on like minded interests, or hashtags, or trending topics. I'm sorry, I meant that for Facebook. For a blog, you're going to want to optimize your blog. And when you'll learn, when you guys look at the assignment video on blogs, how to exactly optimize your blog, from adding in again keywords into your titles, into your body, into the metadata, um, into your links, and the way that you name your links, and the way that you name your images. It's all important within blogs. With Twitter, you're using keywords to discover things within the search, and discover trending topics, discover hashtags, and to connect with other people. LinkedIn, people are easily able to connect with brand influencers, join groups, connect with other individuals that they know. And people who in groups are really the most qualified people for you to connect with if I was your audience. Excuse me. All right. So spreading the word. Once you know who your audience is, you want to spread the word. So you need to figure out what to say. What is your content going to be about? So if you know your driven focus and say it's PR, well, that is what all your content, the core of it will be about, PR and the PR industry. You'll then find other topics, other events to relate back to PR, and look at your content from a PR perspective. So you want to look at that. That's just your personal brand. But if you're a company, you really need to figure out what to say and start curating and generating content for your post. You also want to look at what is your plan. And by plan, I want to know, what is your content plan? When are you trying to get the content out? How are you trying to solve their problems? What are you going to do to execute your plan? You also want to look at, what can the consumer gain? What is the benefit to them from your content? Are they gaining knowledge about a certain topic? Are they gaining insight? What are they gaining from your blog and from your content? How will your brand help your consumer? What are you going to do to maybe, teach them something, or alleviate something from them, or give them knowledge that they didn't have? Or maybe you did the research on something that you couldn't find, and now you're providing an answer for them. You want to look also at your brand's features. If you were to create a menu on all the different topics, what would they be? And what are the benefits to each of those features? And then how does it differ? What's its brand differentiator? How does it stand out from the crowd? This is one of the most important things, because you need to know why your brand is different. What makes it unique? And hearing just it's my voice isn't unique enough. I want to know, what type of content, what is your competitors doing versus you? All right. So the next thing we're looking at is competitor and industry research keys, and keyword terms. And so to figure out what words rank best, you can go ahead and research your competitors. There are some tools that you can do that with. One is Simply Measured, and it will give you some information that it pulls from other resources, and you can either download the report or have it sent to you via email. You have SpyFu. We've been using SpyFu in our lecture class, because SpyFu gives you a lot of data and a lot of information about your competitors, and what words they're using, and how they rank, and how they lasted in different ads. And so it's going to give you information on competitors, which can be very valuable to your brand to understand that. KeywordEye.com is another example as well, like Simply Measured. All right, so if you're looking for a generic keyword term, you might just say, I want the soda. Or you might want to say, or please find me the soda. Or, Surrey, locate, locate sports bars that are, in my area. Or locate an ice skating ring. Locate something that's very basic. The things that people would search for, think of those as generic keyword phrases and terms. They're not getting specific by naming the ice skating rink. They're not getting specific by naming the restaurant they're looking for. They're looking at it at a very surface, generic level when they're looking at what is a generic keyword. When we're looking at a specific keyword, you might name the specific ice skating ring, or you might name the specific movie that you're going to see instead of we're just seeing a movie and being vague. It allows people to look for keywords. To get the rest of this lecture, I want you guys to go and visit A.1.6, and you're going to go through, as you go through the assignment as well, and look at all the different video clips. And they are going to walk you through signing up to each page, and they're also going to talk about optimizing each one of the pages. So I want to make sure that you do that. Also, with 1.6, again, look at the blog content and the notes on the page. For your week 1 task, just a reminder, due Sunday is your 1.6 assignments by the end of the day. Your 1.5 discussion board has 3 different posts and due dates, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, so please make sure that you are completing them. 1.4 is a reading and video lesson. So make sure that, quiz. So make sure that you are reading your stuff, your notes. Make sure that you're looking at your videos, that you're looking at your articles, because they're all fair game for the quiz. And that you can see is 1.4. Your video lesson is 1.3, which is what you're watching now. So make sure you check off that you've watched it, because you do get credit for it. The readings and videos and the video quiz. And then you did the weekly overview today as well. So that's all. All right. Well, if you have any questions, make sure that you reach out to me or give me a call or send me a message, and I will be happy to help you. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great one.